Welcome back everybody. This is part 27 on What If Kid Asta Meets Noelle's Mother. I do not own Black Clover or any of the characters in this video. They belong to their own respected authors. Chapter 36. So how's your boyfriend Ren dear? He's not my boyfriend. Yes he is. No yes. I swear to God woman. Ren groaned. Yay I win. Queen Asir cheered. No you don't woman. Ren groaned out before sighing. Anyway. Where are we going? Shouldn't we be heading for the royal capital? Isn't that where Leona will be waiting for us? You know, because I'm going to help select magic knights to be on the special squad known as Royal Knights. Yes, I did tell you that, Queen Asir agreed. However, we're making a pit stop to Torbjorn's workshop first. He has some weapons he wanted to give to Asta and Noelle at the Star Wars Festival, but he didn't have time to make it there. So he sent me a message yesterday that I could come pick them up tomorrow, which is today. Oh, well that's good, Ren remarked. Where exactly is his workshop? We're nearing it actually, Queen Asir spoke. Not too far from here now. Torbjorn set his workshop up away from the major shopping plazas in the royal capital. As for why, I think you can figure it out. Besides the attention he'd get, probably due to how the nobles and royals acted prior to you taking the Clover Kingdom throne, Ren replied, frowning a bit. You're not wrong there, Queen Asir agreed. Anyway, we're here. The two stopped and took notice of the building before them. Like Queen Asir said, the workshop's building was indeed out of the way. Despite this, the workshop of Torbjorn was large. Well, large for a workshop anyway. It bore some burnt bricks on the outside, but most of those were inside the workshop, as Queen Asir and Ren took notice of when they entered. Both on the inside and outside of the workshop, particularly on the far wall at the end of the main room and door's entrance, bore the symbol of the Crimson Lion Magic Knight Squad. Ah, Lady Asir. Both Ren and Queen Asir turned their attention to the front counter of the workshop. Standing behind the counter, which had another room behind it, stood a dwarf with black hair that was tied into a ponytail, as well as bearing a long beard, and wearing the cloak for the Green Praying Mantis Squad. It's been quite a while. He glanced over at Ren. Ah, and a human-elf hybrid with you. Queen Asir nodded, gesturing to Ren with one hand, and the dwarf with the other. Ren, meet Thornton Ironcliff, Queen Asir told her. He and Torbjorn, along with Julius Marx, both Fanas and Leona, helped me overthrow Royal House Kira. Pleasure to meet you, Ren, Thornton greeted. Torbjorn should be out soon. He said earlier that he was finishing them off. Pleasure to meet you as well, Ren remarked before going into thought. Dwarves. I've heard about them countless times, but to actually meet one, Ren thought. Torbjorn was carrying what appeared to be 3 weapons instead of 2. He then set them down on the counter. Just had to finish polishing these things before I handed them over to you, Lady Asir, Torbjorn remarked before pointing at each weapon individually, starting with the gauntlets. The gauntlets are the anti-magic boy Asta. He then pointed at the staff. The staff is for your daughter Noelle Silva, Lady Asir. And lastly, he pointed at the sword in its sheath. As for the sword, that's for... Pardon me interrupting. Queen Asir spoke up. But I didn't ask for a sword. Not that I'm complaining. Mind you. Torbjorn looked up at the Clover Queen intensely. I was getting there woman. Torbjorn retorted coolly, with a hint of irritation in his voice. He cleared his throat, then continued. I made the sword for Ren. Ren blinked in slight surprise, as did Queen Asir. For me. Ren repeated. How come? Wait, does this mean you knew I was visiting Clover? I was unaware of you coming to visit Clover, Torbjorn remarked. However, my grandfather knew Licht. In fact, the swords the anti-magic boy in the Silver Eagles is using were created by my grandfather for Licht. Ren opened her mouth to say something, but nothing came out at first. After several minutes, Ren finally found the courage to speak. How did you? Ren breathed softly. No. Torbjorn finished Ren's question. Grandfather told me about it. As such, he told me what materials he used to make the swords. Took a while to find them, but I did. Ren slowly approached the counter and took the sheathed sword carefully, then began to unsheath it to feel it with her fingers. Queen Asir stood by Ren and put her right hand on Ren's shoulder. You alright Ren dear? Queen Asir asked the Blue Elysia elf tribe leader. A few tears hit the sword's blade, causing Queen Asir to gape softly. Oh Ren dear. After a few more minutes of silent crying, Ren sheathed the sword and held it close to her like a teddy bear. I'll take good care of it, Ren spoke softly, looking up at Torbjorn and gave a bow of the head towards him. Thank you, Torbjorn. Torbjorn waved his hand dismissively at Ren's bow. You don't need to bow to me, girl, Torbjorn told her firmly. I made the sword because I wanted to, not because I was told to. Ren chuckled sheepishly. Sorry. The bowing thing is a force of habit, she admitted. It's all right, Torbjorn remarked. After that, Ren turned to Queen Asir. Asir, we should probably head back, Ren told her silverette woman. Marioliona is probably wondering where we are. True, Queen Asir agreed before nodding to Thornton and Torbjorn. Thank you for making these, Torbjorn. I'm certain Asta and Noelle will love them. With that, the four gave their goodbyes. Then Queen Asir and Ren walked out of the workshop. There you are. Where have you been? Told you. Ren gave Queen Asir a knowing look once they returned to the Silva house. And being questioned by Marioliona, who was waiting for them. We were at Torbjorn's workshop to retrieve a few things, Queen Asir told Marioliona. Once I bring these gauntlets and staff to Asta and Noelle, we can head out. Marioliona crossed her arms before sighing. Oh, fine, Marioliona remarked gruffly. But do it quickly. I won't wait too long. We're already behind. She held up her right hand before Queen Asir could go any further. You have 5 minutes. That's it. If you're not back out by the time 5 minutes is up, I'm leaving you behind. Don't you mean grab us with firepaws? Ren asked with a raised eyebrow. At those words, Marioliona chuckled. Yes, that's what I meant, Marioliona remarked, grinning like a female lion. Duly noted. Ren's sweat dropped, holding her sword close. Queen Asir nodded, then flew up to Asta and Noelle's room to put the boxes that held the gauntlets and staff for Asta and Noelle, respectively. While Queen Asir did that, Marioliona looked at the sword sheathed in Ren's hands. A sword? Marioliona questioned. And here I thought Yami was the only one that wielded a sword. Well, in his case, a katana. But still, how come you have one? I don't recall you ever owning a physical sword. I know you make swords with your light magic. Torbjorn made it for me. His grandfather had made the swords that my grandfather wielded long ago, Ren said with a soft smile. So the real Licht is your grandfather then, Marioliona remarked. Not this lookalike wannabe I've been hearing about recently. Oh god no, Ren scowled, shaking her head. I swear once I meet him, I'm gonna slap him for using my grandfather's name. You're not the only one that wants to do that, Marioliona agreed as Queen Asir flew back down. Asir and the captain of the Amber Phoenix Magic Knight Squad also want to do the same thing, though for entirely different reasons. As soon as she finished, Marioliona glanced over at Asir. Well, Asta and Noelle are asleep, Queen Asir replied. Lieb decided to take the gauntlets though. Pfft, Marioliona snickered. I still can't believe you allowed a devil into your house. Though to balance out that disbelief, I didn't think he'd take the position of being Noelle's guard dog with Asta. She paused, then turned on her heel. Now let's go. For once, Julius is early, which means we have to move it. Otherwise he might start without us. I'm surprised he hasn't already started, Ren remarked. You can thank Marks for preventing him, Marioliona retorted before leaping up into the air. Let's go. No more wasting time. Right. Queen Asir nodded in agreement, also flying up so she was next to Marioliona. Right behind you, Ren said, allowing her wings of light to form and fly. Ah, there you all are. Julius was smiling at Ren, Asir, and Marioliona as they walked towards Julius, who stood near the stage while many other magic knights were gathered. Sorry to keep you waiting, Julius, Asir told him. Me and Ren had to be somewhere this morning. I see many of the magic knights have come, Ren remarked, looking at the crowd. This is for the selection of who will be a part of the Royal Knights, Julius explained. I would have done a tournament instead, but we are running short on time. All right, listen up you lot, Marioliona shouted. Her voice echoed throughout the entire arena, thus getting the attention of all the magic knights present and silencing any conversations that they have been having prior to her shout. Me and Ren will be randomly picking your names out of this hat. Wait, that's how we're picking them? Then why not have Julius or Asir do it instead of me? Ren questioned, confused. Because we wouldn't have fun watching the gaping magic knights? Faye snickered. Julius and Asir couldn't help but snicker at Faye's words, while Marioliona crossed her arms. I chose you to help me because you are a part of our incredibly large family, Marioliona replied. Plus Asir and Julius agreed to it. Of course they did, Ren remarked, then scowled at Faye. And must you? Hey, you're beautiful. They see it. I take advantage of it, and I'm not sorry. Faye smirked, making Ren facepalm. Oh, and look, Yuno and Belle are in the front row. Asir chuckled, gesturing to Yuno. and he's glaring, Julius added with a grin. Now you know. You remember what to say while glaring at everyone else? Belle asked with a snicker. Yes, Yuno replied, glaring at every other male in the area. That none of them can have Ren. Except me. Good. Belle grinned. Now say it again. Silence. Marioliona bellowed. That got everyone in the arena to settle down. Once that happened, Marioliona took a breath, then spoke again. When we call your name after pulling the slip of paper that has your name on it out of this hat, you will come up here with us. She turned to Ren and handed her the hat. You start us off. All right, and stop grinning. Both of you when I know you're enjoying this. Ren glared at a grinning Asir and Julius. I have no idea on what you're talking about, Ren dear. Asir smiled. Me either, Julius added, still grinning like a moron. I'm gonna get you both later, Ren glared, before reaching in the hat and pulled out a name. Mimosa Vermilion. The Golden Dawns in the arena, like Lee Toyle, Klaus, and even Yuno, smiled or cheered for her, Lee Toyle giving the surprised vermilion-haired girl a gentle push towards the stage. Me? Mimosa gasped in surprise. Yup, Lee Toyle told her. Now go on. Mimosa did so, albeit a bit timidly. Once she got onto the stage, she stood next to Ren. Congrats. Ren smiled kindly at her cousin. Mimosa looked over at Ren and noddedly sly, a light smile on her face. Thanks Ren, Mimosa remarked. All right, your turn Marioliona, Ren replied, handing the hat back to her. Marioliona put her hand into the hand, then pulled out a slip of paper, opening it up. Oh, how funny. Klaus Lunettes, Marioliona declared. The Golden Dawn cheered again as Klaus went up to the stage. Ren took a slip next to read. Luck Volsha, she called. Despite a lack of Black Bull members being present, Captain Yami of the Black Bulls, for example, cheered as Luck made his way to the stage. Valeria, Dazu, along with Freed and few others of the Amber Phoenix squad that were present listened intently. I wonder if any of our squad members will be picked, Freed wondered aloud. Hopefully, Kabwi remarked. It's not the end of the world if none of us are though, Siona added. Marioliona put her hand into the hat and pulled out another slip of paper. She turned it over and scoffed. Okay, whose bright idea was it to put Noelle Silva's name in here? Marioliona demanded. Who was in charge of putting the names in the hat? Ren asked. Julius began to whistle, ignoring the glare from Marioliona. What the hell, Julius? Marioliona grit her teeth. You know Noelle is pregnant. Or did you forget that detail? Julius stopped whistling and turned to face Marioliona. He laughed lightly. To be fair, I had this plan before Noelle got pregnant, he replied, so I must have forgotten to take her name, along with Asta's, out of the pile of names. Yeah, you can blame Asir for that, Ren deadpanned. Every mother has matchmaking skills. Asir grinned. So I couldn't help myself. Plus Asta and Noelle are okay with it. Regardless, best take another one. Marioliona. Ren sighed. Right. Marioliona nodded. Doing so. Ah, this is better. Kirsch Vermilion. Oh no, Mimosa groaned, making Ren look confused. Vermilion. Is he a relative of yours? Ren asked. He is. Mimosa twitched. My brother. And a narcissistic prick. Ren blinked. Mimosa gestured to the vice captain of the Coral Peacocks, Kirsch Vermilion, making his way over to the stage, flaunting his hair. He talks about beauty and himself way too much. Mimosa twitched again. However, he is no pushover when it comes to a fight. Klaus chimed in, adjusting his glasses. I see. Ren's sweat dropped. Ah, it's wonderful to finally meet you, Ren. Kirsch smiled, walking to the elf hybrid. To think our family would have such a beautiful young lady without any of us knowing. Truly a crime to keep you hidden away. That is an exaggeration, I assure you, Ren quickly said. Yuno disagrees. Klaus pointed down at Yuno, who glared up at Kirsch. If I didn't have to follow the magic night code, I'd kill that guy on the spot, Yuno muttered angrily. Yuno for one, he's her cousin. Klaus' sweat dropped. And two, he's saying it in a way as saying the sky is blue. It's a fact. It's not, Ren hissed. See what I had to deal with growing up. Mimosa's sweat dropped at Kirsch's words. Such a narcissistic moron. Anyway, I'll pick the next name, Ren quickly said. Run all you want. You can't deny the truth. Faye called. Next you're gonna say I can't run from Yuno. Ren scowled. You can't, Faye and Belle said. At that, Asir couldn't help but snicker. Pfft, Marioliona snorted. They got you there, Ren. I am not discussing my non-existent love life here. Ren scowled. Whatever you say, Ren dear. Asir smiled. trying very hard to stifle her laughter, but failed miserably. Sure, non-existent, whatever you say, Faye smirked, making Ren glare at her spirit. Whose name will be picked this time? Marioliona wondered, snickering softly to herself. Will it be Yuno's? Or someone else's? Oh please, what are the chances I grab Yuno's? Ren rolled her eyes, taking a slip and flipped it over. Oh, come on. If there was a table nearby, Asir would have pounded it with her hands. Instead, she hit Marioliona's shoulder, laughing. Ha ha ha, Asir laughed. I'm sorry, but that's just too funny. How did it get to the top of the pile? Marioliona wondered aloud while also snickering. Well, go on, Ren. Say his name. You guys suck, Ren hissed. Yuno, in a rush of wind, Yuno was on the other side of Ren. He wants to stake his claim again, Faye whispered to Belle with a grin. Just as Ren passed the hat back to Marioliona, Yuno spoke up, saying this. Ren is mine, and no one else can have her, Yuno remarked. Ren blushed a dark red while Asir laughed louder. Stop saying that, Ren shrieked at Yuno. Yuno turned to face Ren, a nonchalant expression on his face. No, he retorted plainly. Oi, Ren hissed. Yuno, at the very least, you should ask to court her properly, Klaus scolded, and not claim her until afterward. Mimosa added. Excuse me? Ren gaped red face. Yuno glanced at Mimosa and Klaus, his lips curving into a smile. I'll keep that in mind. Yuno smiled. Don't I get a say in this? Ren demanded, red face. Not really, Faye replied. Nope, Belle grinned, sticking her tongue out at Ren, while Marioliona pulled out another slip of paper, then unfolded it to read the name. Daza Tayaku. Marioliona called. Me. Daza pointed at herself while Alice, Siona, Fried, and even Kabwi began to lightly push her forward. Yes, you. Fried smiled. Now go on up there. Dazu just chuckled sheepishly as her squad mates continued to lightly push her towards the stage. Soon thereafter, she got up onto the stage. Once she did, Marioliona passed the hat back to Ren. She reached for a slip, turning it to read. Mariella, Ren called. Oh, Mariella looked up from sharpening one of her ice magic daggers. Very well. Though who's going to make sure Fanzel doesn't do anything stupid? Heh, that won't be too much of an issue. Kabwi grinned. You've done it a lot lately, so let the rest of the squad have a turn, Alice added. If only Captain Fana could see this. She and Mars are busy. That's why they're not here, Mariella remarked, standing up and going up to the stage. After a few more name pickings from the hat, Marioliona began to announce the plan in regards to the Royal Knights. There's around 16 of you, so 5 groups of 3, with one group having 4, Marioliona explained. Now I'm sure some of you are wondering why you got picked, or what the battle plan is. The battle plan is this. Marioliona glanced at Asir, who stepped forward. The battle plan for the Royal Knights is to attack the Eye of the Midnight Sun's HQ from all angles, Asir began. The ultimate goal is to reach the center point of their base. What's there is a stone tablet that holds the magic stones the Eye of the Midnight Sun has collected thus far. Remove the magic stones from the stone tablet and return here. Once we have the magic stones, Patry will have to either surrender to us or come up with something else. Does everyone understand? Marioliona then stepped forward to add on to what Asir was explaining so far to the Royal Knights. No doubt there will be Eye of the Midnight Sun mages and potentially dark disciples to stand in our way, Marioliona continued. Defeat them at all costs, and capture them if able. If not, then simply knock them out. Is that clear? Right, they all yelled. Good, Marioliona grinned. A few hours earlier, at the Elysia elf tribe, an Annie bird had made its way here. How it did so is unknown to it. As soon as the Annie bird flew into Elysia and perched on one of the trees to rest, a bright mana aura surrounded it. A confused and slightly irritated expression appeared on its already hard-to-read face. After a few more seconds, the Annie bird was gone. In its place sat a human girl with shoulder-length black hair, red eyes, wearing a black dress. She wore a pouch around her waist area that held her grimoire. She blinked a few times and touched her face with her right hand. Where am I? She wondered aloud. End of chapter 36. Link down to the comments if you want to read the rest of the story. I hope you all enjoy. Goodbye.